happen if you skip a day?
Okay. So, point slope form, this is your formula here. So, this right here, do y'all see right here where it says x1 and y1 is the given point? Yes, okay. So, what we're going to do is we're going to replace x1 and y1 with numbers. So, we're going to replace with numbers. Not hashtags, with numbers. Okay. What is the other thing that we always replace with a number? M. We always replace M too. So, we're also going to replace M with a number, okay? Regular y and regular x always stay. Regular y and regular x, just like it did in slope-intercept form. We always had y equals a number, x plus a number, okay? All ready to go down? Okay.
This is fast. Do you have homework? No.
So let's look right here, okay? It wants us to write an equation in point-slope form for the line that passes through the given point with the slope provided. Then graph the equation, okay? So this one's an example that's already been done for us, so I just want us to look at what they did. So we have a point, -2, 5. Y'all, -2 represents what value? X always comes first, so then 5 is the y. And then slope is what letter? M. Okay? Now, instead of it being just regular x and regular y, it's actually the x1 and y1 values, because those are the ones we replace. Okay? Y is going to stay the same. Y always stays the same. Minus y1, which is 5, it's the y value they give us, is equal to our slope, which is m, so -6. We replace. Darwin, you're totally staring at the floor. All right, so -6, and then our parentheses. Now, why did they change to brackets here?
Because that's the order you do everything. You do what's in the parentheses.
There's another parentheses, okay? So there's brackets here because there's normal parentheses here, but we'll usually always we'll end up with normal parentheses at the end. And then it's regular x, stays x, minus the x value it gave us, so minus -2, okay? And you guys know that I never, ever, ever want to see minus and negative on a paper, because what should minus and negative be? A plus. So we have to simplify. Guys, this is it. This is our final answer right here. This is what I'm looking for. Y minus the y value it gives us is equal to the slope it gives us times x minus whatever x value it gives us. Okay, the hardest part about point slope form is having to pull the point back out, since there are minuses in the formula. Okay, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Wait, don't leave. So A is that?
Yes, this is our final answer. This is our equation in point slope form.
It gives you -2, 5.
It gives you this,
And then you have to solve it.
and you get to that. Okay? All right, and then to graph it, y'all, if they gave us a point and a slope, we should be able to graph that no problem. What do we always plot first? Okay, we don't have the y-intercept this time, so we're going to plot the point. Guys, we can never use our slope first. We always have to have a point, Gavin. We always have to have a point before we can use our slope. So the point it gives us is -2, +5. So where am I going to go on my graph? Left 2 and up 5. Good. Left 2, up 5. And we put a point. Okay? And then from there, if the slope is -6, we can write -6 over what number? 1. So if our rise is -6, what direction is that? Down. And if our run is a +1, that is right. Okay? So from this point that we plotted, it's not a y-intercept this time, but that's fine. We are going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and write 1. Did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Okay, so I plotted the point it gave us, and then I used the slope to get a second point. And we always start at the original point to use our slope.
Are we supposed to write that?
It's right here. You mean this right here, if this helps you.
When did we leave?
Buddy, it's on the board. Okay, if I have 2 points and the whole purpose is to make a line, what do I need to make? A line. I'm going to use the edge of my pre-algebra foldable. Okay. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Okay. So one of the complaints yesterday on y'all's papers is that people try to rush us, and I want to make sure y'all have plenty of time to tell me any concerns that y'all have, and we're going to be respectful if people have questions, right? Okay. All right, so on B, we're doing the same thing with B, but this time we're going to do it all, okay? So first thing we need to know, in order to write an equation in point-slope form, we need to know what point-slope form is. So what is point-slope form? What does it start with? Y minus what? Y1 is equal to, good, very good, x minus x1. So y'all have 3 different forms to get memorized. Point-slope form, the slope-intercept formula, and then make sure y'all know what standard form looks like. Okay? So am I ever going to replace this front y here? No. Okay? We want to replace the x and the y ones. Okay? So negative 2 is which value? X. And the 6 is the y. So I'm going to just rewrite y minus, what's our y value? Positive 6. Okay, I just saw some funky faces. What was that for? Nothing? Maybe both? Mainly Darwin. I didn't know. Yeah. So make sure you're paying attention so you know. So I'm replacing the y value with 6. M is the what? The slope. So it's the 5/4. So I can replace it with 5/4. And then I can do parentheses. This first x stays x. In our formula, it says minus, and x1 value, or our x value it gives us, is a negative 2. So minus a negative 2. Okay? So y'all know I like to write it this way, so that way I don't have to go back and rewrite this. If I have minus a negative, that becomes a plus. So this can be x plus 2, and that is a giant plus sign. And that's our answer. That's it. If you didn't simplify on this line, then you need to simplify on the second line. But that's why I always do minus and negative side by side, so I can just make it one big plus without having to rewrite it. We're plugging in and then simplifying if needed. Okay? We don't have to get y by itself here. We don't have to get x by itself here. We don't have to get y and x on the same side. This is what it's supposed to look like. Okay? We just plug it in.
We have to remember that formula, though, aren't we?
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. Now we want to graph this problem. So where do I need to start? The slope? Oh, thank you, Tyler. Negative 2, 6. And that's the what? That's the point. We always need to start at the point they give us. So negative 2, 6 is the first point they gave us. So I'm going to go left 2, up 6. Okay, our slope is 5/4. So if it's 5/4, very good. Y'all remember. Thank you. Okay, I can't go up 5. There's not enough boxes. And since I can't go up 5, instead of doing a positive 5 and a positive 4, if we make them both negatives, that's the same number because a negative and a negative is still positive. But this way we can go down 5 and then which way? Left 4. We're going to do the complete opposite of what it says. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Left 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good, y'all. So if we can't go up and right, we can do the opposite and go down and left. And if we do have 2 points, this whole thing's supposed to be a line, so we need to make sure we make our line. Yes.
And does it like cross the x-axis?
Here?
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to cross it down here somewhere. And then it's going to cross the y somewhere up there. We just don't have enough space. Okay? Good job. Gavin, you're about to have to be banned from bringing clicky pens into my room.
Bringing what?
Clicky pens. Okay? Alright, so we're going to get into a little bit more complicated stuff. Okay? But this time, we're using point slope form, and then we're going to have to rearrange to put it in standard form. Okay, so y'all remember that test that we have where, again, we were doing literal equations and then we did standard form where we had to rearrange it. That's all we're doing again here. Okay, so we're taking those skills and we're just applying it to a second situation. Okay, so A, it gives us what form? It gives us point slope form. So right here we have point slope form. We want to change it to be in standard form, which, remember, this is standard form. AX plus BY is equal to C. So A is a number, B is a number, C is a number. Okay? So our whole goal is to get X and Y onto one side and then the constant by itself. So in order to do that, our first step is going to be to distribute. We've got to get rid of these parentheses first. Okay? So the 7 times X gives us 7X. And that 7 times 5 gave us that 35. So first step is going to be to distribute. Okay? After I distribute, then we're going to want to move our X value to that left side. Okay, so that becomes negative 7X plus Y minus 1 equals 35. Then we got to move all of our constants to the right side. So we add 1. And then, guys, can we have a negative coefficient for X? No. And so then we had to divide by 1 in this example problem. And guys, remember, everything gets divided by 1. Okay, I had a lot of people skipping out on the middle term here. Okay, so we're going to practice this. This is just an example for us to look at. Okay, so on problem B, again, this right here is in point slope form. Okay, so it's in point slope form, but our instructions told us it wants us to put it in standard form, which is that AX plus BY is equal to C. So we want to change to this. Okay, we want to change to that. BY, thank you. Sorry. AX plus BY is equal to C. And we want to change it to this. So first step, okay, we can't move this X because it's in parentheses. So to get rid of our parentheses, our first thing we have to do is what? Distribute, okay? So is anything going to change on this left side? No. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring down Y plus 2 is equal to 7/8 times X is 7/8 X. Okay? Don't get too complicated here. Minus 7/8 times 3. Guys, 3 is over 1. We just have to do 7 times 3 is... Hey, again, we're being kind or else we're going to get in there. Okay, 7 times 3 is 21. I know, I already put my minus sign. I just dropped it down. 7 times 3 is 21, and it goes over 8. Okay, because 8 times 1 is still 8. The denominator doesn't change. All right, are y'all okay with what I just did? I know it makes it a little bit more complicated when there's fractions.
I was just trying to ask. So even if it can be, put in mixed numbers,
no, just leave it as an improper fraction. It'll make it easier. Okay. All right. So we want to move. What do y'all want to move first? Do y'all want to move the x's or do you want to move the constants? The x's. Okay. So how do I move the 7/8 x to the other side? Good. Minus 7/8 x on both sides. So remember, our x goes first in this form. So we want to do negative 7/8 x plus y plus 2 is equal to negative 21/8. Okay, so we have our x and our y over here, but we've got this little straggler we don't want. How do we move him? Good, minus 2 on both sides. Are y'all calculating this, or y'all just waiting for me to give you the answer? How about you calculate this? Steven's got it. Make sure y'all know how to calculate this. Don't just sit here and wait for me. Huh? Okay, did you do it? You have a calculator? You haven't done it? Okay, well, do you know how he did it? Oh, so you did it by listening to what Steven did in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to use my brain and
Okay. Well, I can guarantee you there's going to be fractions on your test, and you need to make sure you're able to do them, as well as on your homework. Next Friday. Okay?
I'll be good by then.
Oh, okay. All right. Are y'all okay if I come over here because I'm running out of space? All right. So negative 7/8x plus y, the 2 goes away, is equal to negative 37/8. Are we done?
No.
No. There are 2 issues that we have here. What's one?
Not simplified.
What do you mean?
Like,
there's no B.
A can't be negative.
Okay, A can't be negative.
the divider.
It also can't be what?
A fraction.
A fraction. So are y'all okay if we get rid of both of those problems in one step?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, we know it's negative, so we know we either have to divide or multiply by a negative. We don't divide by negative 8.
Divide by -1.
This is divided by negative 8. How do we undo a divide by negative 8? We multiply, okay? So we have to multiply this whole thing. So since it's a divide by 8 right here, to get rid of that, we have to times by 8. And to get rid of the negative, if we times by negative 8, that'll also get rid of that problem. So we can get rid of 2 problems in one. Okay? So negative 8 times a negative 7/8 leaves us simply with,
X.
no,
Negative 7.
just a positive
Why is
7x.
it not negative?
Because I'm multiplying by negative 8. Negative and a negative make a positive. 8 divided by 8 leaves us with this.
That'd be
You can
negative
take which
y.
one you want to be
So,
negative and you can make 8 to be
8y.
negative and multiply it.
Well, this whole number is negative. Go to the back. Go to the very back. No, I'm done. This whole fraction is negative, so if you multiply a number by another whole negative number, it gives a positive.
Just gonna
Okay? Yes.
That'll be 37 by the way, guys.
Hang on. Okay. Guys, who else has to get this negative 8? Okay, y'all are skipping out this middleman here. Y'all always forget about him. Okay, we also have to make sure this y gets multiplied by negative 8. So negative 8 times a positive 1y gives us a negative 8y.
I already did that.
Is equal to
37.
37.
what kind?
Positive.
Positive 37. A negative and a negative make a positive. 8 divided by 8 leaves us with the numerator. So positive 37 on top. So guys, now are we in a correct standard form?
Yes.
Yes. Good job. Okay. Right. Only one more thing. But this one's easier. It's easier. It's easier. Okay. This one's the hardest part of this, okay? So on example 3, this time we're starting in point slope and we're changing to slope intercept form. Okay? Now it doesn't have slope intercept form written down for us. What is it?
Y equals mx plus b.
Y'all, slope intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Again, there's 3 forms. We're going to have to keep them straight. Okay? So slope intercept form. Y'all know this is my favorite because it's the easiest. The stuff is obvious. The information it gives us is obvious. So, okay? So we're taking something from point slope and we're going to put it in slope intercept. Okay? We're still going to start with the same first step of distribute. So we're going to distribute negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times a minus 4 gives us a plus 12. And guys, at that point, all we have to do is get this y by itself, so we just subtract that 6 over.
And that's all?
That's it. There's only 2 steps here. Okay, this one's so much easier than changing it to standard form. I like this one.
So you just simplify it.
Uh-huh. Just solving for y. You're solving for y. You want to write that down, solve for y? Like in big letters, solve.
write it down.
I know, but I know you won't notice that every time. Solve for y.
I should do that.
Okay, that's what you're doing. Okay, because I don't want y'all to make this more complicated than it is. Okay, we can't, on problem B, we can't just add 7 first because this 5 is in parentheses. So we've got to, again, get rid of our parentheses first.
Negative
Okay, good. So y minus 7 stays the same because we're not changing anything over here yet. Negative 3/4 times x is negative 3/4 x. Okay, and then we have negative 3/4 times this 5 here. Now that's a negative and a positive, so that's going to make a minus sign. 3 times 5 is 15, and it's simply going to go over 4. That's it. Okay.
And then you can add 7.
And then now we can add 7. Very good. Now we add 7 to both sides. That gets this y by itself. Negative 3/4 x does not change because we can't add 7 to x. So we have to do negative 5/4 plus 7. So y'all need to be careful because this 15/4, it has that minus sign with it. Please make sure y'all can do this. Do not just wait on me or Stephen. Sydney. Do it.
I was going to say, are we supposed to be adding negative 15 over 4 to 7?
Yes.
7 together? I know how to do that.
So,
Can I say what it is?
Yes, if you get it.
It is 3 1/4.
Okay, change it to an improper fraction for me. You remember how to do that? The second ABC button.
13 over 4.
And is it positive or negative?
Positive.
So plus 13 over 4. Okay, does everybody know how to get that in their calculator? Because I know y'all don't like to do this by hand, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, again, is y by itself?
Yes.
Do we have a number x plus a number?
Yes.
Can it be fractions? Can they be negatives?
Yes.
That's why I like this one.
Oh wait, so this is our answer?
That's it.
Yes.
That's our final answer,
So no homework, right?
obviously.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions on this, y'all, or do y'all like this? Kind of okay?
I don't understand it enough to do homework.
Oh, okay. Well, then good thing that we have like a few minutes to start in class, right?